viral content can be viral easily on Facebook, TikTok, Shorts, YouTube, you know, wherever
Dude, I
you wanna
haven't
go.
cracked the code for Facebook. Do you like what advice do you have there? Like I post everything from our Get Indiana page on Facebook and it doesn't do very well.
Facebook did this deal a while back where they were running out of content to feed to Reels, right? And depending on how you look at that, a lot of other platforms have done the same thing where they're like, hey, we don't have enough traffic on, or we don't have enough content on Reels to keep up with the traffic on Reels because we're running out of stuff and we're having to show people the same video twice. They would take things from other segments. So they used to have Facebook Watch, which is all the long form content, which I'm sure you remember. They had like their own subsection of like almost like TV. You could watch it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, from now on, and they started with Instagram. They're like, hey, from now on, every single video that's on Instagram is a reel. Everything. So they created the Reels feed. And then they migrated to Facebook and they did it all as well on there. So you'll get on your Reels feed, you'll get long form video, you'll get short form video. So you can post it anywhere you want. I always tell people to like really focus on the first 3 seconds.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter the length of the content you want to post if it's good enough to watch like all the way through. So if you were to ask me like, what's the code for Facebook? I would say you have 5 seconds. Treat it as the hardest interview you've ever had in your life. Every video has to be fresh. So every video has to be viewable for a brand new person, and it has to be welcome enough for somebody to come back. So every time I post, I always keep 5 things in mind. I have on-screen text for 3 to 5 seconds, briefly explaining, kind of like a YouTube thumbnail. You know what I mean? So it's a brief explanation of what the video is without being descriptive. You don't want to give away your golden goose, your secret. You know what I mean? Like if I'm making something for dinner, I don't want to be like, hey, this is pumpkin pie. You know what I mean? Or whatever.
It's like dinner surprise or surprise dessert for dinner or whatever.
You want to be descriptive enough where you're not telling anybody anything, but you're piquing interest. So it's what, you know, I'm sure you've heard of hook
Yeah.
people. And then you want to get instant animation in that first 5 seconds. So like I'll slam something on the counter, or I'll speak to you directly, or I'll get your attention somehow within that first 3 seconds to lock you in. Also have really good lighting. That's number 3. So number 1 was text on screen. Number 1 is your hook. Then really good lighting for what it is. Because if something's really dark or overexposed or too light, people are going to see something. They're like, ugh, scroll on. You know, number 4 is you want to really hone in on format. So it's got to be exactly what they want to see. No bouncing TikTok logo or you downloaded it from another platform or whatever.
Yep.
And then number 5, you want to make sure that people have a bit of familiarity with it. For me, it's me standing in my kitchen. I mean, like how many times, like I got a friend, do you guys know Malcolm Reed?
I don't.
How to Barbecue writes his YouTube. He's a huge barbecue guy. A lot of people know him. A lot of people know Heath Riles. But if you see his face in a video, the first 3 seconds, you'll stay just because it's him. You know what I mean? Like he's a household name by himself. A lot of times,
How to Barbecue Right? Is that him?
yeah, Malcolm Reed. He's if you're into anything barbecue, that's the guy to look up. Like I dabble. I'm more of a home cook. I try things. I experiment. Sometimes they work out. Sometimes they don't. But I'm not going to lie to you. If the recipe's bad, I'm not going to put it out there to the internet. Be like, you should make this, you know. But that dude, he's honed his craft. If you give that familiarity concept to like the first 5 seconds, I mean, think about like when you go into an interview and you wear a nice tie, you wear a suit, you're coming in and you show professionalism. It's a familiarity of professionalism. So you're giving that impression of expectation. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So if I start the video in my kitchen, and my kitchen cabinets are a unique color, like we mixed that color, my wife mixed that color by herself. And it was more of like she didn't like the color of green that came with the can, and she's like, I'm gonna make this a little different. So my kitchen is very unique colored in my background. So like there's a lot of times where somebody will post a video or start with my kitchen, and the video will do well because people recognize where I'm at, or if I'm in the video. So if you show the same thing every video in the first 5 seconds, so like for instance, like if you're here and they see your face, a lot of people will know who you are, so they'll stop and watch it just because they know you. Like how many millions?
Versus if it was just like a different thing, and then I pop on the screen after 3 seconds, it's like, oh, they didn't even make it that far.
Yeah. So I mean, like if you show your face at the end of the video, even though they hear your voice, how many people sound like you? You know what I mean? There's only one dude that looks like Nate Spangle.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
You have to be unique enough but familiar. For instance, like everybody knows what a Whistling Diesel video looks like.
Yeah.
You know, they're wild, they're crazy. There's an expectation, and they all start off the same. If you open up a Whistling Diesel video in the first 5 seconds, what do you see? You see him
like saying we're gonna do this crazy thing or
Yeah,
whatever.
so, like-
and then like a cut to like them, like it's like I feel like they always do a little teaser where it's like we're gonna test a Cybertruck, and then it's like they're ramping it and it just cuts away of like, oh, you're like, oh man, I have that to look forward to later on in this episode.
Yeah, but how many videos out there from other from other accounts do you see that go viral just because they see Mr. Beast in the video? You know what I mean? Like somebody will be walking down the road and then you're watching it, and then all of a sudden you see Jimmy's face, and then that video will go viral just because it's him.